thank you for your time. The expanse of space stretched out endlessly, punctuated by twinkling stars and the luminescent glow of distant galaxies. The Data's, a jewel in the Galactic Federation's crown, made its approach toward the Galactic Council from the bridge commander. Ilis watched his eyes widening in quiet admiration, not at the GN of ships, but at the monumental space station that held the Galactic Council. The station and engineering marvel loomed like a titanic fortress, its intricate structures and lights making it resemble a floating metropolis. It was so vast that it made the already sizable Datus seem like a mere speck in comparison. Beside Ilis, Mira leaned slightly forward, her eyes wide-eyed. Knew the council station was large, but this it's colossal. She whispered, "Go usually." Not one to be easily impressed. Simply said, "Yeah, it shows what we can do when we come together." Inside one of the Deus's suites, Ambassador Elra of the Hellion Collective took a moment to compose herself. This grand display of power and unity was intimidating even for her. She took a deep breath, readying herself for what was ahead. The Daedalus signaled its intention to dock, responding a massive hangar bay door from the space station slowly opened, guiding the ship inside like a hand welcoming a much smaller one into its grasp. With precision, the ship nestled inside, and its engines powered down. No sooner had the Daedalus confirmed its secure docking, Admiral Celine led a delegation towards its exit ramp. He was there to greet and escort the Helen ambassador to the council. The ship's gates lowered with a hiss, revealing Ira. Her poised figure stepped gracefully onto the platform, silver hair reflecting the hangar lights. Sanine extended his hand. "Ambassador Isla, welcome to the Galactic Council. Your presence and the knowledge you bring are of utmost importance." Elra accepted the handshake, her grip firm. "Admiral Celine, it's an honor. The Helen Collective understands the gravity of our shared situation. We are here to help in any way we can." With a nod of understanding, Salon replied, "Very well, Ambassador. The Council is eager to hear from you. Given the urgency of the DRA threat, they've decided to convene without delay." As they walked side by side the way to the galaxies, fate seemed to press down upon the vast station, making every moment all the more critical. Ira's mission was clear: to forge an alliance that could potentially change the course of the war against the DRA. Voices of unity and offer of aid. The Galactic Council chamber was a sight to behold, a vast amphitheater adorned with glowing symbols representing all the member species seated represent representatives from across the galaxy. The air pulsed with anticipation, and a hush fell as Ira stepped onto the central platform. A senior council member, a tall humanoid with iridescent skin, rose. "Ladies, gentlemen, and esteemed beings of the Galactic Council, we present to you Ambassador Era of the Helen Collective." Ira took a moment, letting the silence stretch, then began. "Representatives of the Galactic Federation, I stand here as a testament to unity in the face of diversity. My people, the Healing Collective, were once much like yours, but when the shadows of the DRA loomed over our systems, we united. Our shared struggle against this adversary has gifted us not just unity, but also a profound understanding of their tactics and technologies." The chamber remained silent, hanging on to her every word. Ira continued, her voice echoing off the chamber walls. "We face the DRA in the dark corners of the galaxy, evading their sweeps, outsmarting their probes. This struggle has driven our technological advancements. Today, I offer our knowledge and our tech to you not as conquerors, but as allies." She paused for a moment, letting the weight of her words settle, then added, "The Helen Collective proposes a joint venture. Let us enhance a selection of your Federation vessels with our technology. Together, we can strengthen your fleet's weapon systems and cloak them with our advanced stealth capabilities. With this combined might, we can present a formidable front against the DRA." Whisper spread through the chamber like ripples in a pond. Go sitting among the delegates leaned over to Merera. "She's good. The Hellion tech could be a game changer." Mera nodded, her eyes fixed on Elira. "Let's hope the council sees it that way." As Ira took her seat, the debate began. Council members rose one by one to voice their opinions. An Avon representative from the Saigon cluster remarked, "The TR threat is real. If the Hellion Collective's technology can give us an edge, I say we embrace it. However, opposition was inevitable." A representative with scales shimmering under the chamber lights countered, "How do we trust this newfound ally? What if This is just a ruse, a strategy the DRA are employing to weaken us from within. The debate continued for what felt like hours. Arguments and counterarguments, hopes and fears were all laid bare. Finally, the senior council member who had introduced Elra rose. Once more, it's evident that the stakes are high and time is of the essence. While concerns are valid, the potential benefits are undeniable, all in favor of provisional alliance with the Helen Collective and the proposed tech integration signify. By raising your emblem, a sea of emblems, glowing in various hues, rose a majority. Had spoken with this we ratify. A provisional alliance with the Helen Collective, the senior member declared. The chamber erupted in a mixture of applause and murmurs, marking the start of a new chapter in the Federation's defense against the DRA. Preparations and confirmations. The colossal galactic Council space station buzzed with activity. Hangar bays, previously silent and orderly, now rang with a cacophony of engineers, crews, and machines. Battle cruisers, each an imposing behemoth of power and precision, were selected for the crucial journey to Helen space. There was clear assimilate the advanced technology of the Hellion Collective and return stronger, stealthier, and more formidable. On board, one of the cruiser's technicians and strategists huddled, discussing the anticipated upgrades. The energy was palpable. One could almost touch the mix of excitement and responsibility that charged the air. The success of this venture could very well dictate the outcome of the impending confrontation with the DRA. Amidst this flurry of activity in a private chamber within the council station, Celine initiated a secure comm link. The holographic display flickered and then stabilized to reveal the hardened visage of General Zoran, the rebel leader. With his chiseled features and piercing gaze always commanded attention. General Zoran. Solon began choosing his words carefully. The Galactic Council has ratified the terms we discussed. Amnesty is granted to you, your commanders, and your entire force. The Federation recognizes the value of every ally in these trying times. Zoran's demeanor, usually stoic, betrayed a hint of relief. Commander Saline, your council's decision is wise. Our differences are inconsequential compared to the threat looming over us. The DRA are relentless, and the more hands we have on deck, the better our chances. Salon nodded. Speaking of new allies, there's something, or rather someone you should know about. He proceeded to brief Zoran about the recent developments with the Helen Collective. The rebel leader listened intently, absorbing every detail, and their gravimetric sensor, Saline, continued. It's something we've never seen before. The capability to detect DRA drones, potentially even their cloaked ships, could tip the scales in our favor. We're working tirelessly to replicate and integrate this technology into our fleet. Zoran raised an eyebrow, clearly impressed. The Helen Collective's technology sounds promising. Saline, this could be the very advantage we've been seeking. Saline could feel the tide turning. Every decision, every alliance was setting the stage for an epic confrontation. I trust, General, that with your expertise in guerrilla tactics, your fleet would be instrumental in utilizing this technology to its fullest potential. A slow grin crept onto Zoran's face. Commander, give us the tech, and we'll ensure the DRA have nowhere left to hide. Their conversation, underpinned by mutual respect and the gravity of their shared mission, concluded with assurances of swift integration and collaboration. The Federation was fortifying its ranks, and with the rebel forces joining hands, their collective strength was poised to challenge the DRA's reign of terror strategy and cohesion. The next day, inside the Galactic Council's central chamber, a strategic summit convened. Leaders, tacticians, and advisors from different corners of the Federation came together, circling a massive hollow table displaying an expansive map of the galaxy. Ships marked by blinking dots represented the vast resources at the Federation's disposal. The map was awash with trails, potential pathways the DRA drones might use to relay information back to their masters. Celine stood at the helm, pointer in hand, highlighting critical choke points and areas of interest. Our intelligence indicates the highest likelihood of DRA drone active ITY in these sectors. He began, his voice echoing across the chamber. Their modus operandi is stealth, intelligence gathering, and evasion. Conventional methods won't corner them. We need a new approach. All eyes shifted as another figure strode to the center. General Zoran, flanked by his top commanders, faced the gathering. A hush descended. His reputation preceded him, and many in the room had either fought with or against him in the past. After speaking with Salon, and securing the amnesty Zoran wanted to personally attend this briefing with a nod from Saline Zoran. Began outlining his strategy. Guerrilla warfare is about adaptation and exploiting vulnerabilities these drones. Think they're the hunters lurking in the shadows. We turn the tables, we become the predator. Zoran's voice was cold, precise, like a blade being sharpened with the Helen's gravimetric sensors. We won't just detect these pests, we'll hunt them. Down, Celine interjected, and that's where the Wolfpack plan comes into play. General Zoran and his fleet will be our wolves. Their ships retrofitted with the sensors will scout, track, and eliminate the DRA drones. We believe that with their guerrilla expertise, they are best suited to take on this mantle. Murmurs of agreement echoed throughout the chamber. While Zoran's tactics were unconventional, they had merit. As for Command Logistics Salon, continued addressing what many wondered about. General Zoran's fleet will operate under the broader strategic objectives of the Federation, but it's paramount that we trust their tactical judgment. In the field, Zoran nodded. My fleet knows how we operate while we'll align with the Federation's larger goals. My commanders and I will dictate the tactics, adjusting as the situation demands. We've thrived in the unpredictable, and that's the strength we bring. An advisor from the back posed a question: how do we ensure smooth communication between your fleet and ours, General? Real-time intel sharing will be critical. Zoran smirked. We've been intercepting your signals for years. I think we'll manage. A chuckle rippled through the room. The tension was palpable, but undercut with a grudging respect for the rebel general and his audacity. As the summit drew to a close, detailed plans were initiated for the seamless integration of Zoran's Armada collaboration. Nodes were set up, data channels were synchronized, and for the first time the rebel fleet was represented on the Federation's holomap. Their dots blinked in unison with the rest, a symbol of unity. Zoran and Saline, once adversaries, now allies, shared a final look. The weight of what lay ahead was immense, but with every alliance forged, the Federation's stand against the DR grew sturdy. The galaxy was uniting, and in this unity, hope was reborn. In the sprawling expanse of the galaxy away from the unified front, the Federation was presenting a shroud of darkness, enveloped a secluded sector. This was DRA territory, cold, silent, and unyielding. It was a void where hope seldom ventured, but within this abyss there was movement. 5 colossal DRA ships, their hulls of deep obsidian, shimmered against the faint starlight. These weren't just ordinary vessels, they were behemoths, symbolizing the might and ruthlessness of the DRA empire. Each ship's design was an intricate maze of terrifying artistry, an embodiment of a civilization that thrived on conquest and subjugation. Their destination was set for the planet Orinthia, a luminous world on the fringes of Federation space. Orinthia, with its azure oceans and emerald land masses, stood as a beacon of life and prosperity, but its position made it vulnerable, a soft underbelly amidst the vast territories of the Federation, unknown to the Corinthians, and the Federation's vast intelligence network. These DRA Leviathans made their steady, silent advance. There were no transmissions, no signs of their approach. Their advanced engines leaving no trails or detectable energy signatures. They were ghosts moving through the vastness of space, their intentions insidious, descent into darkness cold. Metal met bruised skin as recent LRA were thrown unceremoniously into their new prison. The harsh thug of their landing was immediately followed by the echoing clang of a large door ceiling shut behind them. Pain throbbed through their bodies as they struggled to rise, their vision blurred, and their heads swimming from their recent interrogations, but it was a pervasive sense of hopelessness that weighed heaviest on their souls. They found themselves in a massive, dimly lit holding area. It stretched beyond the boundaries of their immediate vision, with high walls that seemed to swallow up what little light existed. Vague shapes moved around in the semi-darkness, some slumped against the walls, others huddled in groups. There was a cacophony of groans, hushed whispers, and muted sobs, occasionally drowned out by the sharp, distant sound of a guard's command. In the dimness, our managed to catch LRAs. I both spies. They'd faced countless challenges together, but nothing quite like this. LRAs usually fierce eyes held an unfamiliar glint of vulnerability. He reached out and grasped her hand, squeezing it firmly as if to convey a silent promise that they would find a way out of this mess. Where are we? LRA's voice barely rose above a whisper, yet it broke the eerie silence that had settled around them. Some sort of holding area, whispered back, squinting to try and make out their surroundings better. Its massive look following his gaze, Eloray's eyes widened as they traced a vast expanse of the prison, multi-level platforms interconnected by a series of rickety bridges and ladders formed the complex's infrastructure all around them. Various alien races, some humanoid, others not, were restrained by the same fate. One particular group caught Reese's attention, four beings, their bodies covered in bioluminescent scales that glowed faintly in the dark, sat in a circle. They were communicating in a series of melodic tones, their heads tilted backward and their mouths open wide. Eloray's gaze set on another trio, tall, lithe creatures with feathered wings that seemed too fragile for flight, their plumage dulled and dirted by captivity. It's like a menagerie of the galaxy's misfortunes. LRA whispered a hint of anger, and her voice raised, nodded, taking in the sheer diversity of species imprisoned alongside them. We don't even recognize half these races. How far and wide have the DRA spread their tyranny as they navigate their way deeper into prison, trying to find a less conspicuous spot to recuperate and plan an old being approached them. Its fur, once probably a rich shade of blue, was now matted and dirty. Its eyes, milky with age, still held a spark of curiosity. You're new here. It rasped humans from the look of it. You're far from home, Rays. Ever the diplomat replied, it seems we've taken a wrong turn. And who might you be? The creature chuckled, a low, growly sound. Name's Taron, and you might say I'm a bit of a historian in this wretched place. I've been here long enough. At least, if you've questions about your new neighbors, I might be able to help. LRA, her gaze never straying from Taron, whispered to Ree, maybe he knows a way out, or at least something that can help. Us, Reese nodded in agreement, ready to grasp any thread of hope, and as a trio settled into a shadowy corner, the tales of countless races and worlds, all subjugated by the DRA, began to unfold. Stories of struggle. Terran's tales seemed endless, each one more harrowing than the last. As hours slipped by, a crowd had gathered around the trio in the darkness. Captive faces illuminated by the sporadic glow of bioluminescent beings listened intently. This assembly, it seemed, sought solace in shared experiences and the whispered dreams of freedom. One story in particular caught LRA's attention. It was the account of Mayan, a tall, slender creature with an iridescent exoskeleton emanating a soft cyan glow. We were a peaceful society, me, began, his voice resonating with a haunting echo, the Asala living in harmony with our world's delicate ecosystem. But the DRA saw potential in our planet's unique flora. They sought to harvest it irrespective of the damage they caused. As we spoke, his exoskeleton shifted in hue, mirroring the spectrum of emotions he went through, from the serene blues of peaceful memories to the angry reds of invasion and conflict. They overwhelmed us not with brute strength, but with their sheer numbers. We resisted. Malin continued, his color now a fierce orange, but one by one our cities fell. Our forests burned and our people enslaved, moved by the tale of feathered creature. Lithia, the Varan species, decided to share her story next. She spoke of fast skies and open air and how her people once soared without constraints, but then the DR came, shrouding their world in darkness and caging them literally and metaphorically. Each story held a pattern. A peaceful world, the arrival of the DRA, resistance, and eventual capture or subjugation. Yet amid the melancholic tales, threads of hope were woven. Many spoke of resistances that still existed, of hidden bases and guerrilla warfare. Amid the stories, Lyra and Reese could sense an opportunity. They exchanged glances, realizing that this prison, this dark, sorrowful place, might just be the nexus of alliances they had been searching for. Rays took a deep breath and spoke up. Each of us here has a common enemy. The DRA have taken our freedom, our homes, and for some even our families. But look around you. We are a formidable force combined with the knowledge and experiences we share. We can mount an existence like no other. A murmur of agreement spread to the crowd. Lithia fluttered her diminished wings. But how do you propose we do that, human? We are all prisoners here. The DRA security measures are unparalleled. Before Reese could respond, a voice interrupted from the back. Not entirely unparalleled. All eyes turned to a cloaked figure stepping into the dim light. As the hood fell back, it revealed an aged face, scarred and weathered, but with bright, calculating eyes. I am Arlon, once a prince of the Denari Empire, he declared, his voice tinged with both pride and sorrow. My people fell, but I led a rebellion, and many still pledge loyalty to me. If we get out, I can rally them, but escape is no small feat. And LRA shared a look of intrigue here. In the bowels of the galaxy, they'd stumbled upon a potential ally, someone with resources and influence. Then let's start. Their LRA said determinedly, let's find a way out and bring our stories, our strengths back to our worlds. Let's turn this prison into the first step of our collective fight back. A hushed wave of whispered agreement spread through the assembled captives in the face of adversity. The spark of rebellion was lit a glimmer in the gloom. The vast chamber's melancholic atmosphere changed as Rees, LRA, Prince Arlon, and Lithia huddled in a shadowed corner away from prying eyes. Though these talks were hushed and hurried, every word echoed with hope and urgency. The first moonrise, Lithia whispered, her voice steady. That's our window. There's a guard shift, and they become complacent, assuming we're all resigned to our fate. Aaron looked intently at Reese, but escaping this chamber is only the first step. How do we get past the guards and the security systems? Right, that's a challenge. If our stealth ship is still intact, if we can just read a hangar, it's undamaged. A soft voice from behind them interjected, startled. They turned to see a guard, his uniform partially hidden beneath a cloak. His features were strikingly similar to Arlen's. Draven, Arlen whispered in surprise. The guard nodded. They captured me before the invasion on our planet, forcing me to serve them by threatening our family. When I saw you, I knew we had a chance. The reunion was touching, but time was of the essence. Can you guide us to the stealth ship? Rees inquired, hope glinting in his eyes. Draven nodded. During the third moonrise, I'll be on duty near this chamber. I can guide you through the less guarded paths. LRA interjected, we won't leave you behind. Draven looked resolute. No, my place is here for now. Once you're out, I'll work from inside. I'll create chaos with the ship systems and let the other prisoners out. While they try and contain the riot, you should be able to slip away undetected. As the group began to draft a plan, Reese took a moment to reflect. Our stealth ship only has seats for 2, but we have extra storage space to fit 2 more people. It's going to be tight. Once we're out, we can jump to hyperspace. The DRA ships will be too slow to catch us. Lithia, with her knowledge of the ship's systems, would be invaluable, and Arlen's tactical prowess was irreplaceable. They would join Reese and Lyra and attempt an escape. Their escape wouldn't just be a personal liberation, it'd be a beacon of hope for all the races imprisoned there. In the days that followed, every move was measured, every conversation weighed for importance. The stakes were clear. If they were discovered, retribution would be brutal. Yet even in the weight of impending escape, an alliance was forming. The tales of the Federation that Reese and LRA shared gave Aaron and Lithia a broader perspective. Perhaps if they manage to flee, they can add their strength and numbers to the Federation. It could present a formidable challenge to the DRA. The moon cycles of the prison ship continued, bringing them closer to their chance. The weight of anticipation was palpable, but amid the fear and uncertainty, there was a budding hope. The thought of flying free, of reigniting the fires of resistance spurred them on. The DRA might have captured them, but they would never break their spirit. Testing the waters on the other side of the galaxy, the enormity of space seemed both confounding and fascinating. Floating against the dark void, the Galactic Council's massive space station stood as a testament to their resolve and unity. Not far from it, a small vessel, its sleek hull reflecting the distant stars, drifted. This was the vigilant, captained by the resilient Captain Hale. Hale stood on the bridge, surrounded by the hum of consoles and the subdued chatter of the crew. The ship's first mission after the catastrophic encounter with the DRA was of paramount importance. On a platform bathed in soft blue light was a gravimetric sensor, a piece of Helen technology with potential capabilities still not fully understood by the Federation. Initiate, the sensor commanded. Captain Hale, his voice reflecting a mix of anticipation and apprehension. A crew member hesitated for a split second before nodding and activating the device. The device whirred its sound, resonating with the heartbeat of everyone on board. All eyes darted to the main screen. Suddenly, the calm of the room was shattered as 4 distinct dots appeared on the screen. The sensor had detected something. Battle stations, Hale shouted. The crew, trained for moments like these, immediately jumped into action as alarms echoed throughout the ship. Hale opened communications to Zorn's vessel still stationed near the Galactic Council. We have 4 contacts. Zorn, Hale said, urgency evident in his voice. I'm sending you the live feed. Engage Alpha and Omega drones. I'll take the other 2. The feed showed the outlines of the drones, their design Eerily organic, but distinctly DRA in nature, Captain Hale steered the Vigilant towards the closest Dr. drone with practiced precision. He locked onto the target and fired bright beams of energy, erupted from the ship's cannon, striking the drone and obliterating it into a shower of debris not far Zoran's vessel. Danced through space, swiftly closing the gap to its target. The ship unleashed a salvo of projectiles, impacting and shattering the Alpha drone. The remnants of the once threatening enemy scattered, blending with the stars, but victory was not yet complete. The other two drones, sensing the impending danger, began to accelerate, attempting to escape the Federation's wrath. Track their trajectory. We can't let them escape. Hale ordered. The Vigilant lurched forward, its engines roaring to life as it pursued the fleeing adversary. Speed was on their side, and they were gaining. Zoran's voice crackled over the comms. They're fast, but not fast enough. We have them. Both Federation ships close in, and within moments the escaping drones met the same fate as their counterparts, reduced to debris amidst the vast cosmos. On the bridge of the Vigilvant, Captain Hale let out a deep breath, his hands slightly trembling as the weight of the moment settled in. That was close. He remarked the gravity of their discovery not lost on him. This is what we're up against, but now we have a fighting chance. Zoran's face appeared on the screen, his eyes fierce with determination. Looked straight at Hale. Now we know the sensor works. Let's mass produce these and hunt every last drone down. Hale nodded in agreement. The era of the DRA remaining hidden ends now. Zoran's grin was almost predatory. It will be my pleasure, he declared. The parting thought was clear. The DRA had awoken a united, technologically advanced, and determined enemy. The Federation was ready to strike back. The Federation space do known as Chapter 33. Alpha Nexus was abuzz with activity. Alpha Nexus, an immense structure floating in the void, could house entire fleets. Today it hosted General Zoran's flagship and several of his vessels. Ships of various sizes and classes floated anchored by quantum tethers as smaller service pods darted around them. Bright lights illuminated the silhouettes of engineers and technicians as they clambered over the ships, exteriors fitting them with the newest piece of technology that held the promise of turning the tide against the DRA. The gravimetric sensors inside one of the ship's captain. Larth tapped at the terminal, his fingers dancing over the holographic interface. The sensor's readouts displayed a myriad of information. He squinted, trying to understand a flurry of data. A voice from behind startled him. It's overwhelming at first, isn't it? Turning, he found Zoran approaching. His authoritative aura unmistakable. LTH straightened. General Zoran. Sir, it's an honor, and yes, the influx of data is vast. Zoran smiled. You'll get used to it. This is the edge we've been waiting for. He looked at the screen, appreciating the nuances. These sensors see the undetectable, giving us a window into the DRA's movements. A small chime resonated in the chamber. It was a ship's AI gravimetric sensor calibration at 93% estimated full operational readiness in 3 hours. Zoran nodded. Please, good. Once they're ready, we'll have the eyes to see where none could before. L's curiosity piqued. Sir, the Helen technology is truly astounding. Do you believe with their continued assistance and these upgrades we can gain an upper hand in the war against the DRA? Zoran looked thoughtful. The Helens have shown us a path we hadn't seen before. Their technological prowess combined with our determination is a formidable combination. I believe with these new tools and further collaboration, we can certainly tilt the scales in our favor. Their conversation was interrupted by a soft chime. Earth's console displayed a live feed of the doctor. Remaining ships of Zoran's fleet were gradually being fitted with the new technology. Engineers, looking minuscule against the vastness of space, flitted about diligently installing and testing the sensors. One of the engineers, a bright-eyed young woman named Talia, floated toward the service pod after completing her task. Through her comm, she reported vessel for its gravimetric installation complete, running diagnostics. Now Zoran overheard the update. Talia's team is efficient. By the time the sol rises, 6 of my ships will be equipped, ready to pierce the dark shroud the DRA hide behind. As the two continued discussing strategy and the nuances of the new equipment, Alpha Nexus itself seemed to hum with anticipation. Every corner of the dock reflected the Federation's dedication, resilience, and hope. The clock was ticking. The Federation was evolving, arming itself not just with weapons, but with the knowledge and capability to foresee what Lay ahead as the hours past the anticipation grew the ships their crews, and the entire Federation waited for the moment they would embark on a mission that would either save their universe or see it plunge into an abyss. Only time would tell which journey to the Helen. Collected, the vast expanse of space stretched out before them, filled with stars, nebulae, and the unknown. At the forefront of the fleet was Ira's vessel, sleek and silent, a testament to Helen. Engineering, it stood out, its design markedly different from the Federation ships. It was guiding. Ira herself was on the bridge, her eyes focused on the navigational array before her, around her. Federation officers worked diligently, each one aware of the importance of their mission, the gravimetric sensor on board Ira's ship hummed softly, its display showing a clear path through space. Every once in a while it would ping and indicating potential obstacles, but so far no DRA presence. We have a clear course of the Helen Collective. Elra said, her voice confident. Stay close and keep an eye on the sensor feed. The DRA drones may be lurking. Captain Yoris of the lead Federation ship, the Star Strider, nodded. Understood. Our ships are at the ready. The journey may be perilous, but we're prepared. Simultaneously, far from there. Location: General Zoran's fleet began its own voyage. The newly installed gravimetric sensors on his ships were already proving invaluable, pinpointing regions in space that had previously been blind spots. The mission was clear: seek and neutralize any DRA drones entering or operating in Federation territory. On the bridge of his flagship, General Zoran stood with determined gaze. These drag drones have been operating in the shadows, gathering information with these sensors. We can blind them and their reconnaissance. His tactical officer, Lieutenant Dre, looked up from a monitor. First readings are coming in, Captain. There's an anomaly 3 paracs away, moving erratically. It matches the known patterns of DRA drone. Zoran's eyes sharpened, set a course. Will intercept back with Ira's convoy. The journey was relatively calm. The vast stretches of space between the Federation and the Helen Collective were filled with wonder and beauty. Nebula shimmered in a dance of colors, and distant galaxies painted the canvas of the cosmos. Yet beneath the serene setting there was an undercurrent of tension. Every crew member, from ensign to captain, knew that danger could lurk behind any asteroid or within the shadow of any star. Elra often found herself standing beside the large panoramic window on her ships, bridged the sight of the Federation fleet moving in formation, gave her hope. Their combined might and the upcoming Helliand enhancements would surely turn the tide against the DRA. As hours turned into days, the fleet approached the outskirts of Hellian territory. The Collective was a marvel in itself, an alliance of systems and planets, each contributing to a harmonious existence. Suddenly a soft chime resounded on Ice ship. The gravimetric sensor had picked up something, a faint blip moving rapidly towards them. DRA drone approaching from the starboard side, shouted one of her officers. Captain Yoris immediately responded. All ships defensive formation. Elira, stay in the center, will handle this. As the Federation ships took their positions, the lone DRA drone, perhaps emboldened by its unknown finding, zoomed forward, attempting to evade and continue its recon mission. AA side in relief as the fleet managed to corner the drone, ensuring it couldn't relay any information back. One less spy in the cosmos. Thank you, Captain Yoris. He smiled. All in a day's work. Leighton, continue. The Hellian Collective awaits. The two fleets, separated by light years but united in purpose, continue their respective missions. The universe watched, holding its breath, as the next chapter in the Federation story unfolded. A vision of unity. Ambassador Salon sat in his well-appointed office aboard the Federation's main star base. His large desk was flanked by holographic displays showing various star charts and tactical plans. Despite the vast array of technology around him, his focus was solely on the flickering communication panel. In front of him, Ella's face shimmered into view, the backdrop of her ship's bridge visible behind her. Ambassador Celine, she greeted, her voice clear despite the light years separating them. Ambassador Elira Celine acknowledged with slight nod. It's good to see you again, even if only through a comm link. I trust your journey with our ships is progressing well. Ella's lips curve into a small smile. Indeed, Ambassador, the Federation fleet is capable, and with the guidance of our gravimetric sensor, we have avoided any unforeseen encounters. We're making good time to the Helen Collective. That's good to hear, Celine remarked. The quicker we can get those upgrades, the better our chances in this conflict. Elra nodded, her gaze serious. Ambassador, I've been pondering our alliance to partnership. Between the Healing Collective and the Federation, I envision more than just an exchange of technology, one sea of future, where our forces stand united not just as allies, but as one. Soen leaned back. In his chair, intrigued, go on. She took a deep breath, passion evident in her voice. Imagine, if you will, Helen battle cruisers flying side by side with Federation ships, a joint fleet of force. To be reckoned with, these vessels won't just be symbols of raw firepower. They'll represent the unification of our knowledge, our science, our very cultures. Elira continued, her voice rising with emotion. We've been in contact with some of your top scientists, and enthusiasm for collaboration is palpable. Our research teams are excited about working hand in hand with Federation scientists, unlocking new possibilities, pushing boundaries, and forging a new chapter in interstellar development. Celine, visibly moved, responded, your words resonate deeply, Commander. For too long the universe has been a place of division, of isolated pockets of civilization. This vision, you speak of it, a beacon of hope in these trying times. A's eyes softened. Ambassador, the universe is vast, filled with wonders, and threats alike. The DRA are but one of the many challenges out there. By merging our strengths, we're not only ensuring our mutual survival against a common enemy, but laying the foundation for a brighter, unified future. Celine paused, processing the weight of her words. The Federation has always believed in seeking out new life and civilizations, forging alliances, and promoting peace. Your vision aligns perfectly with our core beliefs. AA's lips turned upwards. Our scientists are eager to come aboard the Federation star bases, to share, to learn, to innovate. Once the fleet returns with the upgrades, we'll be sending 2 of our finest battle cruisers, along with delegation of our brightest minds. Together we can turn the tide against the DRA and usher in a new era of prosperity and unity. Salon stood up, a gesture of respect. Ambassador, Elira, the Federation will welcome your cruisers and the brilliant minds aboard them with open arms. I believe this alliance, this partnership, could be the universe's best chance at enduring peace and in progress. Elra saluted, until our paths cross again. Ambassador, Salon, return the salute. Safe travels, Commander. The Federation awaits your return. As the communication link closed, Celine found himself lost in thought, buoyed by hope and determination. This alliance, this vision of unity, might just be the key to securing a future for all Orinthia. Distress. Ambassador Celine had just concluded his uplifting conversation with Commander Elira when serenity was abruptly shattered. The Federation's command center, ordinarily an emblem of order and discipline, was thrown into a frenzy. Red alerts flashed across the walls, accompanied by the shrill cry of the emergency klaxon. Officers, generally poised and focused, were now in a rush, shouting commands, initiating defense protocols, and darting to their battle stations. At the main console, a junior officer rapidly decoded the distress signal, his fingers skimming across the holographic interface. The expansive display screen at the command center's forefront activated, revealing a live feed from Orinthia orbit. The tranquil blue world was eclipsed by the menacing silhouettes of several DRA ships, their sinister hulls shimmering threateningly in the distant stars' weak glow. Their intent was evident. Invasion was imminent. A sinking feeling gripped Ambassador Kane's heart. Orinthia, a pivotal outpost on the edge of Federation territory, was invaluable. Its fall would devastate Federation morale and offer the DRA a strategic advantage for further incursions. Council members issued rapid orders. I need fleet stats. Admiral Krell bellowed. How long until the closest backup reaches Orinthia? A voice rose amidst the turmoil. The closest fleet will take hours to get to Orinthia. Another officer chimed in. Initiate evacuation orders for the Orinthian populace. But in this beat 'em, Ambassador SL's voice resonated powerfully, overriding the tumult. Locate General Zoran. A technician, responding promptly, displayed Zoran's recent coordinates. Sir, she began, her voice trembling yet distinct. General Zoran and his 6 ships were patrolling the Lore sector, they closest to Orinthia, and their estimated time of arrival. Salon questioned, considering their current speed and trajectory, approximately 1 hour. She responded. Salon's gaze hardened. General Zoran, immediately, he needs to be briefed. Acknowledging with a nod, the technician sent an urgent message. Turning to the War Council, Saline stated, Zoran and his ships are our primary hope, equipped with the gravimetric sensors. If they reach Orinthia in time, they might stand a chance. Admiral Krell concurred the DRA won't anticipate their counteractivity. Surge in the command center as communication lines, open defense stratagems were devised, and all resources were deployed to assist Zoran's squadron. However, an undercurrent of apprehension lingered. They faced formidable odds, and the magnitude of the impending clash weighed heavily from a subdued corner of the command center. A video stream showcased Orinthian civilians looking sky with their expressions a fusion of awe and dread. Children clutched their parents' communities, drew together seeking solace and unity in the distant ships laden with refugees soared from the planet's surface, making desperate bids for escape. Oblivious to the frantic orchestrations transpiring light years away, they placed their faith in the Federation's distant guardians. On an open communication channel to Galactic Command, the determined face of General Zoran appears. We're on our way at the fastest possible speed, he asserts, his voice unwavering. Back in the war room, Sand's eyes meet those of Admiral Krell. He's up against 5 DRA behemoths, he murmurs with a mixture of hope and trepidation. I'm not sure even Zoran is up to. Chapter 34. That the vastness of space rippled as General Zoran's squadron of 6 battle cruisers burst forth from warp speed, bearing directly down on the besieged planet Orinthia. Each ship sleek and imposing gleamed menacingly as its engines hummed with a latent energy ready for battle. The sight before them was as magnificent as it was haunting. The immense DRA behemoths stretching out in an intimidating line formation, mercilessly bombarding Orinthia below. Streaks of violent energy rained down from the DRA ships, tearing into the planet's surface, creating massive explosions. Plumes of smoke rose, scarring the beautiful blue and green landscape that once represented life and harmony. Now it symbolized devastation and desperation. General Zoran's sharp eyes took in the scene in a matter of seconds, his brow furrowing at the sight of the bombardment. Every instinct in him screamed to dive headfirst into conflict, but he knew that strategy and precision would be crucial. All vessels form attack pattern. Delta Zoran's voice rang out, echoing with clarity and purpose. Our primary target is the DRA behemoth on the right flank. Focus all firepower on that ship. In response, the 6 Federation cruisers swiftly adjusted. Their formations, their sleek designs contrasted sharply with the looming monstrous aesthetics of the DRA vessels. Each Federation ship powered up its weapon systems of Vtane, enhanced torpedoes humming to life, poised and ready for Zoran's command. On the bridge of Zoran's flagship, officers and crew worked feverishly, coordinating with the other ships, optimizing shield frequencies and locking onto the designated DRA behemoth. All torpedoes locked and ready, General, reported Lieutenant Mara, her voice holding a hint of anxious anticipation. Zoran nodded, his jaw set with determination. On my mark. Fire. As if choreographed, a salvo of bright torpedoes streaked through space from the Federation ships, zeroing in on their target. The torpedoes impacted with ferocious power, creating a series of brilliant explosions across the hull of the targeted DRA ship. Beams of laser fire accompanied the torpedoes, each strike hitting with precision and power. The behemoth tried to retaliate, sending